Hey everyone, RJ here with CV Tech, and today I'm doing a comparison between the Nokia Lumia 635 and the Microsoft Lumia 640. This is on AT&T, this is on Boost Mobile. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a versus comparison type video with these two phones, give you the specs of both of the phones, and just kind of go through some apps and share how it works. So let's go and get started. Okay, so now we have both devices here. This is of course the Lumia 635 and the Lumia 640. I'm not going to give you the specs of the phone and everything, kind of showing you the differences between the phones and how they're going to run. So first of all, we'll start with 635. Now this phone runs Windows 8.1. This phone will not receive Windows 10 because it runs only 512 megabytes of RAM. Now, if you have the 1 gigabyte version, you will get the update eventually, from what I've read. So yeah, want to go ahead and throw that out there. This phone has a 4.5-inch display at 480 by 854 resolution at 218 pixels per inch. It does have cornering Gorilla Glass 3. Now, this phone has a 5 megapixel camera on the rear with no LED flash, has an aperture size of f2.4, records in 720p at 30 frames per second, and has no front-facing camera, which is really unfortunate. This phone runs a 1.2 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 400 processor with 512 megabytes of RAM, 8 gigs of built-in storage with around 3.5 to 4 available to user, and it will support up to 128 gigabyte micro SD card. It's got a 1830 milliamp hour battery with around 12 hours of talk time and an estimated 27 days of standby time. Now moving along to the 640, this phone runs currently Windows 8.1. However, this phone will get Windows 10 when it comes available. I haven't got the update as of yet though. This phone has a 5-inch display at 720 by 1280 resolution at 294 pixels per inch. Also has cornering Gorilla Glass 3. On the rear, it has an 8 megapixel camera with an LED flash, recording in full 1080 at 30 frames per second. Also has a 1 megapixel camera in the front that also records in 720p. And has an aperture size of f2.2. Now, this phone runs a 1.2 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 400 processor with 1 gigabyte of RAM with 8 gigs of built-in storage, and will also support up to 128 gigabyte micro SD card. This phone has a 2500 milliamp hour battery. It says it has optional wireless charging. However, I can't verify that. With a 26-hour talk time. That's what it says. I don't know. And an estimated 36 days of standby time. That's a long time if it really does, last that long. And this phone also says it has NFC. However, I've never really used it. So, look at the phones here. Both of them are really nice. I wish that the Boost Mobile would have got the 640, but they never did, which is kind of unfortunate. Like I said, cameras here, with your Microsoft logo here, Nokia logo here, speakers in the same spot, volume keys and power keys in the same spot as well as the headset jacks. So pretty much the same design of a phone. Both backs are removable, and you can replace the battery if you choose. So let's go ahead here, and first of all, I'm going to go ahead and power the phones off. I meant to do earlier but never did. And we'll do a basic power on test, see which one powers on first. Now, I did this video once before, was not satisfied because I did want to run Asphalt 8 to see how it ran, and I was having a hard time with it, so I may end up pausing it until I get it almost set up and then come back to the video so it won't take up so much time. So these phones sometimes take a little while to cut off for some reason. I'm not sure why. That one powered off first, and we're waiting for the 640 to power off so we can power them back on. Lumia devices are really awesome. I like the Windows platform. I think it's an awesome platform. It's very simplistic, very easy to use. The biggest downside of Windows devices is the fact of the lack of apps in the App Store. If it had the same kind of apps you can get on iOS or Android, honestly, I believe this right here would be one of the top, because I mean, they're just really good, easy to use, simple devices. So let's go ahead and get started by doing the power on test now. the 640 vibrated first. Like I said, if it had the App Store of Android or iOS, Windows Phone would be awesome because they're so simplistic, has really nice live tiles as you'll see here in a few minutes. And I just personally like the Windows platform. But the app market just pretty much kills the Windows experience. So as you see, powered on first was the 635, followed closely by the 640. And as you see here, this one here has a 480 by what I say 854. We'll give it one more check. Yeah, 480 by 854. But this screen here looks really good. I mean, it's really clean, very clear, and to me it almost looks as good, if not better on some things, than the 640. But that's just, of course, it looks different through the camera viewfinder here. But as you see, these things just, they float. I mean, they are so smooth, and there's virtually no lag. Now, people say, well, 512 megabytes of RAM is pitiful, won't hardly even push anything. Well, that's true in an Android device. However, in a Windows device, 512 megabytes of RAM pushes pretty daggone good, and in some instances, I've seen this one here faster and have less lag than one 640 here with a 1 gigabyte of RAM. So let's go ahead and get started in with some of the tests. We're going to start out here by the Asphalt 8 and just see if I can get it to work right. So same time here. And if I see it's going to take a little while to set up, I will pause it and come back. So the 640 starts up first, followed by the 635. I'll keep this video as short as possible, but of course, doing all these tests here, it does take some time. And I'll be as honest and upfront in this video as I can if I do have to pause and come back. So with this here done started up first, we'll go ahead and push play. Yep, I have the same issues as it had last time. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, so we're back here now at the screen here. So we'll go ahead and start these two at the same time. So it's pretty close so far. Which one starts up first and see how it looks. A little bit of silence here. It just takes a little bit to load up. It's amazing how fast time flies when you're trying to do a video. You try to keep a video as short as possible, but it's like time just flies by. And I guess because it's just a hurry up and wait on these games and stuff like this. So the 640 started up first while we're still waiting for the 635 to start up. As you see, that's already going on the 640. But as you see, both of them do look pretty good while they're playing. Even though it was slower loading up on 635. Both of them look equally good while they're playing. Now, there is a few drop frames here and there that I've noticed. As you see on 640 just there, it froze up for like a second. But for the most part, as you see, it does play pretty well. So we'll go ahead and stop this game here. Won't take up any more time with that. Scroll down here. We will go into the calculator. Starting now. Basically about the same time. Temple Run 2, we'll start off there. Looking through the camera here, the 640 looks lighter, while this looks darker and more true to color. But in real life, this one here is just barely lighter than the 635. So the camera's kind of deceiving. So we'll wait for this here to start up. And the 635 actually started first this time. We're going to have one fall ahead of starting of 640. But as you see, hard to do looking two screens at the same time. But there you go. It runs really smooth, no issues. Go back down here again. Look at the calendar. Start up first on 635. We'll go up here to the Play Store. Let's actually look at the weather here and see what pulls up first. So virtually neck and neck, just a little bit faster on the 635 than on the 640. Go to the Play Store or to the App Store. That one didn't hit the right way. Start over again now. So virtually about the same time there. So as you see, both of them run very good. Look at the cameras here. And we'll go to the we can't see the front camera because we don't have the front camera on 635. But 635, the 640 started a little bit faster than 635 did. So like I said, it just kind of comes and goes. I mean, sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. It just really depends. Both of them do run very well. Let's go ahead and back up here and we'll open the apps we've already opened and see if they need to be refreshed. Asphalt 8, and it looks like that they both have to be refreshed. Yes, they do. So we'll go ahead and back out of there. Temple Run. 635 needed to be restarted, and the 640 did not, which is pretty awesome. Calendar, same time. Store, same time. Well, yeah, about the same time again. And let's find the calculator again, wherever that was at. So basically about the same time starting up apps. Both of them run equally good, and I have no problem with any of them. Run very smooth, very good. So it's pretty much whatever you want. The 512 megabytes of RAM does very good in the 635. I know Virgin Mobile does carry the 1 gigabyte version that I have seen, but you know, it runs good enough in my opinion for what it does. So anyway, if this was helpful any at all, I hope it was. If you got any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below, and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. If this was helpful in any way, give me that thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Hit that subscribe button down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Stay tuned for further videos.